Hey guys, today we're going to be revisiting one of the all-time greats in the world of carry, the Goruck GR1. And this is a bag that I've now had for a couple of years and it's been great to use. It's one of the first bags that I really kind of fell in love with. Just the branding, the layout, the simplicity, everything about it really appealed to me. And it's still a very popular bag in the EDC community, but there's also been some really great offerings that have come out from companies such as Evergoods, Triple Aught Design, and Mystery Ranch. So similar to a video that I did a little while ago for the Goruck GR2 where I compared it to many of the newer travel bags that were on the market, I thought this was a good opportunity to do the same for the GR1 and talk about how it holds up against some of those newer bags, especially considering that this is still going to be a little bit more expensive than some of those options. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Danny and we normally cover popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the bag, I really love the overall aesthetic. This is definitely one of my favorite things about Goruck bags in general. I really love the fact that they can blend the minimal and the tactical so well. So you have a few rows of MOLLE webbing along the front and the sides, but it doesn't feel overwhelming like some of the other more tactical bags that we've looked at. It just keeps things very clean and still appropriate for a more professional environment whenever you want to take it into the office. Now, there have been some newer versions of the GR1 that have been released that are their slick versions that don't have any MOLLE webbing, so it's a lot more of a clean and minimal vibe. And the bag still looks good, but in my opinion, it kind of loses a little bit of that special sauce without the webbing on the front. I really love having this additional versatility and just the appearance added by this piece here. I love using this webbing to attach extra pouches. You know, that's one of the coolest things about Goruck bags is that, you know, modularity that you can get with their ecosystem of accessories and just all the third-party MOLLE accessories that are available on the market. In some of the other videos that I've done for Goruck bags, I've shown some of the pouches that I use. I also love using it for attaching things with carabiners. So I have my Hero clip here, which is one of my go-tos when I have the bag. I just love having it clipped on the outside so I can attach some shoes or even a water bottle if it doesn't fit on the inside. So just lots of versatility having that webbing. And then you also have along the front just the patch area where you can attach a variety of morale patches. I have the Deadpool patch, which is the one that I use the most, but I like that you can kind of customize it to meet your needs. And the appearance, just even as new bags have come out over the years, this is still one of the bags that I think looks best of any that I've tested out. And then moving into the materials, the bag is made out of a very rugged 1000D Cordura fabric. This has held up very well over the years, regardless of whatever activity I've thrown at it. I don't do a ton of rucking, but the few times that I have loaded this up with a ton of weight, it always feels rock solid. I have no concerns about it tearing or showing any signs of damage. You know, it's held up very well. This doesn't look much different than the day that I got it. Now, this 1000D material did take a little while to break in. It felt very stiff for a long time, and it also attracts a lot of dust and fur. So my dog has white fur, so it tends to show here a little bit more, similar to the issues that I've mentioned with the CPL24. I have to work hard to keep it looking cleaner, but you know, the material itself just feels like it's gonna hold up well. I know some people have mentioned issues with pilling on clothing. That's definitely a concern, particularly as we get into the straps. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but on the whole, it hasn't been a huge issue for the clothes that I normally wear, and it's just been nice to have that peace of mind that wherever I go with this bag, it's not going to tear on me or anything like that. And then besides the rugged external materials, you also have YKK zippers all throughout that also seem like they're going to offer a nice amount of weather resistance, particularly on this main area and on the slanted pocket, because they have this flap that kind of comes over to help just keep it a little bit more protected. And then moving into the capacity, this is the smaller 21 liter GR1, which to me is an almost ideal everyday carry size. It's able to hold all the items that I normally like to carry with me. And this is a generous 21 liters. Even though it doesn't seem that big, the bag can hold a deceptively large amount of stuff. I've used it for minimal travel, as I'll talk a little bit more about when we review the main areas. So, you know, it can just hold a ton due to its simpler layout. And I love the slim silhouette. You know, this has been great for navigating crowded areas, jumping onto public transit, and it's definitely a bag that'll fit under a seat on pretty much any domestic or international airline. Now, as far as the 26 liter version, that's a little bit bigger than what I would normally like to use for a daily carry bag. I have the Goruck GR2, the 34 liter, which is about the same height as the 26-liter GR1, so it's a little bit taller than this bag. It's not something that I would normally want to use for my day-to-day. I would recommend anyone who's under 6 feet or even 5'11", which is my height, maybe opt for the 21-liter GR1, especially if you're just looking for something that's more focused on your daily usage. Taking a look at these straps and the back paneling, the bag has definitely been comfortable to wear, although it kind of feels like I'm perpetually breaking these straps in. I've started to try to use more weight in the bag to help with that process, and after a few years they're starting to get a little bit softer, but they're still stiffer than my ideal strap would be, which is a testament to the materials and the durability used here, but it's something that you'll want to keep in mind, particularly if you're expecting a bag that out of the box is really going to feel broken in. That's a big difference with something like the Evergood CPL 24 straps, which feel a little softer and comfortable out of the box. I do like the width of these straps. They're nice and wide, particularly when you're rucking. It never feels like the straps are gonna dig into your shoulders. This is actually one of the bags that almost feels more comfortable the more weight that you put into it. I don't know why that's the case. Maybe that's just me. But I still prefer these over the CPL straps. Unfortunately, like those straps, there's no sort of meshy or breathable material on the inside to help prevent moisture from building up, which is something that I would always like to see on these bags, but considering the environments that they're meant to go into, I can kind of see why that's not included. But besides that, I like the more curved strap that the GR1 straps offer, and there's no sternum strap included on these, but you do have the ability to add one with the webbing that's included on each side. Moving into the back paneling, this has also been pretty comfortable. It has a nice amount of padding. Like the straps, however, there's not a ton of breathability, there's no meshy material, and there are some slight bits of elevation here, but it doesn't provide too much ventilation or airflow, so my back will tend to get pretty sweaty while wearing this. And I think I've been really spoiled with bags from companies such as the North Face, Osprey, Tortuga, even the Axiom 24 pack. I much prefer the back panel on that has, that soft padding and some bigger air channels, so it's just more comfortable to wear, in my opinion. Now, I know these bags are meant to be used for the Goruck challenges and placed into pretty rough environments, so that probably wouldn't fare well with a meshy material. It'd be hard to clean and maintain. So I definitely understand it, and given the peace of mind and the support that this still offers, it's worth the trade-off. But for a future version, I wish that you could customize it to add some extra padding, or maybe on some of their heritage style bags that aren't really meant to be in those environments, there could be an option to have some softer material. That would be kind of a wish list item, but again, the bag has still been comfortable to wear overall, even when you're wearing it with a lot of weight. Jumping into the organizational options, the GR1 definitely keeps things very minimal and simple. This was one of the first bags that opened my eyes to how nice it could be to have less pocketing all throughout a bag and how much flexibility that actually gives you. So I still like this organizational layout, although I recognize that it may not be for everybody. It is very simplistic, and so if you're somebody who likes to have a lot of different spots to organize everything and you don't want to buy a bunch of pouches, then that's going to be something to keep in mind. On the outside, as far as quick access, you just have this one slanted zipper pocket here, which has become kind of a controversial pocket, you could say. A lot of people that use this bag don't find this very useful, and I can definitely understand why. Even though it's on the front, it can get very tight to use this compartment when you fill the bag up a lot in the main area. I still like this for throwing in my phone, my wallet, my watch while going through TSA, and I think Goruck has done a good job of creating some pouches that match up well with this pocket. So they have their wire dot pouch, which I've done a video of if you want to check that out, and recently I've been using it with some other pouches that I've really enjoyed. So the first one is this pouch from Side by Side. This is a little kit they've created that is a great place to hold some masks, some hand sanitizer, and just other accessories that I might want to have with me during these modern times when it's important to have your sanitation tools with you. And then I also tossed in the Wire Dot Mini, which Goruck recently re-released, and I love this smaller version of their Wire Dot. It's still a great place to hold some dongles or cables and other small accessories, but it's just going to take up less space than the larger Wire Dot, especially when I'm combining it with an additional pouch. So on the inside of this compartment, it goes all the way down to the bottom. No other sort of internal organization, so just very simple. And although I do wish it had some more independent volume, much like the CPL 24, that's a nice improvement they've made, as they provide volume in the front, and they also have some internal slip pockets to help organize the compartment a little bit more. But for me, so far, this has actually worked out pretty well. The The next area that we're going to take a look at is the laptop compartment. And so Goruck bags are very well known for their bomb-proof laptop pocket, and this has worked very well over the years. It's kept my device very safe. You can access it from the back paneling. I like that it actually has a separate laptop compartment and that it's not integrated into the main area. The zipper here can be a little bit tricky to get to. As you saw, I have to move the straps out of the way, which can always make it a little bit of a longer process, but regardless, it's well hidden on the back, and it has a zipper that, you know, it has the reverse coil YKK. It would have been nice to have maybe a little bit of extra protection or at least a rain flap to kind of come over, but regardless, I haven't noticed water ever getting into the bag when I've been wearing it. So the zipper comes around and it has this sort of half opening that allows you to get your device in and out pretty easily. I like that this comes up enough to make it an easy grab, and this is going to be able to hold up to a 15 or 16 inch MacBook Pro. Currently what I have in here is my 13 inch MacBook. You can see there's plenty of leftover space, and the compartment has a lot of padding. It has this very rigid frame sheet, and it has a nice false bottom, so your laptop is going to be well protected if you happen to place your bag down a little bit harder, and then it's pretty easy to get it in and out of the bag. And now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. Unfortunately, there's no sort of fleece lining to help prevent against scratching. The compartment is very simple and pretty rugged, as I believe that this is meant to also hold ruck plates if you want to use it for that. You can actually toss them into this area and they're going to be held in place very well. And so if you had a bunch of fleece lining here on the back, if you were taking this into a challenge, it would probably get messed up and be very hard to clean. So I can kind of understand why they left those types of features off, but it would still be nice to have that for your laptop. That would be kind of my wish list item. But besides that, this has done a great job of keeping my device protected. It comes up a decent amount, so you should be able to fit a slightly thicker laptop. But one thing I've noticed with both this and the GR2 is that when the bag gets very packed out, it can you can feel some pressure on the screen. So that's something that I've always been wary of. And in that regard, I do kind of prefer how the laptop sleeve has been implemented in the CPL24. It feels like it just has a little bit more space, and I like their new sleeve that they have that keeps it suspended on all sides. It's also a little bit quicker to access it with the full side opening. So a great job on both of those, but just slightly more to my preference on the CPL24. But regardless, if you need something that's going to keep your laptop safe, this will still do the job just fine. And then besides the front quick access pocket and the laptop pocket, there's no other external organizational options available. Most of that is left to the MOLLE webbing if you want to customize the bag with pouches. And this is an area where the bag has become a little differentiated from some of the other alternatives on the market, such as the CPL24, also the Axiom 24 pack, or even something like the Bellroy Transit Work Pack. All of those bags have a little more in the way of externally accessible pockets, so you can just organize things a little bit more. You have some quick access pockets at the top and the front. Some of them include side pockets that could potentially hold a water bottle. I know with the Goruck bags, I have a water bottle holder that you can attach with the MOLLE webbing, but it's not the best experience. It kind of makes the bag look awkward and clunky. So most of the time I don't use that, and I place the water bottle inside if I want to carry it with me. So that's something that has been interesting to see as more bags have come out. Sometimes when I'm using the Goruck, switching out away from one of those, I do wish that there was maybe some more pocketing sometimes. I saw that with the Heritage version of the GR1 that was released recently, they included a top quick access pocket, which is something I hope to see in more of their bags. I was very jealous when I saw that. Unfortunately, this version, being a little older, does not have that. So just something to call out when comparing this to other bags. And then jumping into the main area, this has a full clamshell style opening. This was one of my first clamshell bags, and I kind of fell in love with it after using the GR1 because I was able to see how much you can fit even into a slimmer and smaller bag like this. Again, this is the 21 liter version of the bag, and I actually have it packed out for minimal travel. So I'm doing things in a little bit of a different order with this video. Later, I'll load it up with some of my EDC items, but I wanted to showcase how easily I was able to pack this out. The bag wasn't super stuffed, and I have the items that I would normally need for a longer weekend or even a week-long trip if I was being super minimal. So you have a lot of flexibility with this simple bucket style capacity here. So jumping into what I currently have, I threw in my Tombin handy little thing pouch, which I really enjoy using, and then I have a little pouch that has an extra pair of shoes that I like to take with me. I have my Air Dot kit, And then I threw in a larger double-sided incompressible packing cube that has the clothing that I want to have with me. And so on the back of the main area, of course, you do have this sleeve that's going to be a great spot to place your ruck plates or maybe a water bladder. There is a little pass-through at the top where you can put a hydration hose through if you want to have this while you're hiking. And then you also have the MOLLE webbing on the back that's going to be great for configuring with all of Goruck's pouches or any other pouches that you might want to attach, or if you want to attach items with a carabiner, you can kind of use that, or if not, leave them out of the way. We saw that the CPL24 added a similar row of webbing to the top, so it's very useful to have. And then I can easily load this out with the items that I would normally carry with me on my day-to-day. So I'd normally toss in my Levitate portable standing desk, my tablet, a pair of headphones, a water bottle, maybe 1 or 2 pouches. And then I'm ready to go, and I still have leftover space if I want to toss in a change of clothes or maybe a lunchbox. And again, with such a slim form factor, that just creates such a versatile use case for this bag. And then on the flap, you have a few additional zippered pockets. Most of the organization that's offered in the bag is contained to these 2 zippered pockets, which I haven't used for much in the past. I normally use this top one as my quick access area. You know, when I'm walking around and I want to reach my sunglasses, this is the area where I normally keep them. So the compartment has a decent amount of volume, even for something a little bit bulkier. So I currently have my Ray-Ban sunglasses with their case. And then I also have a lightning cable and power block to charge my phone and my tablet. Besides that, no sort of organization offered here, no key clips or anything like that. So super minimal. And then down at the bottom of the flap, you have a larger mesh zippered pocket that when I'm using this for travel, I don't pack it out with too much because I don't want to, take up any of the volume that I have. But for my day-to-day, sometimes I'll toss in a larger power adapter or portable battery, or maybe one of the pouches that I'm carrying with me if I want to keep it a little bit more separate from all the items that I have in the bag. I like the simplicity here, and I like the use of the mesh so you can easily see what's in the compartment. You can just open this up and grab whatever you need quickly when you're out and about throughout the day. So, this is still one of the nicest simple layouts that I've used in a bag. It feels like many other bags that have come out have taken inspiration from this. As far as the, setup for the main area compared to the Axiom 24 pack, that one's gonna have a little bit more bells and whistles. They have some Powell's webbing on the side. They have the compartments from around the bag kind of take up volume on the inside. Same for the Transit Work Pack from Bellroy. I keep calling those out because they're very similar as far as the clamshell style opening and the sizing. And then the Recycle Firefighter 24-hour backpack has a very simple layout like this. So they're all kind of a similar aesthetic. And in that vein, the Goruck bag still holds up well. You can see that it's still kind of the standard for this type of bag. So if you're looking for the original and you want a bag that's gonna give you a little bit of that tactical vibe and just work well in pretty much any environment, then this is gonna be a great option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience using the Goruck GR1 over the past couple of years. And you can currently purchase this on Goruck's site or on sites such as Huckberry for about $325 for this 21-liter version that you see here. I know they have a few different price points for the various materials that they offer. They also have some special edition heritage bags that might be a little bit higher, so make sure to check out the pricing on their sites. And in general, this is still one of the more expensive everyday carry bags that you can purchase. Now, it is very well built. The quality on this is second to none. And the aesthetic, everything about it is just really solid. I believe that they're shifting their manufacturing back to the US after they had moved to Vietnam. I think I saw a note on their site. So if you want to support a company that builds their products in the US and you just want something that you know is going to be with you for many years, then this may be worth the additional cost. And so as far as Goruck alternatives, a few that we mentioned throughout the video are the Evergood CPL24 V2, which I've tested out recently, and that is one of the most solid offerings for the GR1. It has a clamshell style opening, a very minimal and just versatile aesthetic. It's not gonna have the tactical vibes that the MOLLE webbing provides. I know they do sell some slick versions of the GR1, but the Evergood just has a very clean aesthetic. I really like the extra organizational options that it provides. The harness system is also very comfortable. Between the two, I still lean a little bit more towards the GR1, but both are really solid. They're gonna hold up over the longer term. And if you're looking for, something that's gonna be very close to a Goruck GR1, but that's just gonna help you save a little bit of money and provide some extra pocketing, that's gonna be a great option to consider. Another good option that's gonna be in the same price range as the GR1 is the Axiom 24 pack, which was very solid. I actually prefer the harness system on that one. It's a little bit more comfortable in my opinion. I also like the VX21 sailcloth material that it has. It just feels like it's going to be a little more weather resistant. The zippers are also better protected. Now, the bag is going to be $365, I believe, so even more expensive than this. It is made in the US. Can sometimes be a little bit hard to get a hold of them just because they produce in smaller batches, but if you're looking for something that has this sort of, minimalist tactical vibe, but that's also going to offer more pocketing, that's another great option to consider. And then if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit more professional looking, then I would highly recommend considering the Bellroy Transit Work Pack, which we took a look at recently. That has a pretty similar layout to this and the CPL24. It has a clamshell style opening. It comes in at about 20 liters, so a great daily bag size, but with a simple layout, it can hold quite a bit of stuff, much like this 21 liter GR1 that we have here. And that one is just gonna have more of an office appropriate vibe in my opinion. It's just got these sophisticated aesthetics that Bellroy's bags normally have. It's pretty comfortable. It has some extra organizational options and one of the best laptop compartments that I've seen on any backpack. So if you want something like this, but you're looking for something that's gonna work better with a nicer outfit, then that may be one of the best options to consider. With that being said, the Goruck GR1 still holds up really well against all those bags, and in my opinion is gonna be one of the more rugged options that you can get. It still gives me a little bit more peace of mind than some of the ones that I mentioned as far as throwing in heavier weight and using it in an outdoor or rougher environment. So that's something to keep in mind if you just want to have something that you know is going to be with you for many years to come. In the description below, I'm going to include links to all the reviews that I've done for the bags that I've mentioned so you can get a better idea of how they differ from the GR1. I'm also going to include some extra videos for bags that I didn't dive into in as much detail but that are still great alternatives, such as the recycled Firefighter 24-hour backpack, the Mystery Ranch Urban Assault 24, and the Green Room 136 Rainmaker. So all really solid options. I'm curious to hear what y'all think is the best alternative to the Goruck GR1 and what your favorite EDC bags are. Let me know in the comments. And as always, I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. And if you found this video helpful, please give us a like. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.